Can you remember the time in your own childhood or adolescence when you formulated the desire to be an actor?
Was there a point, someone you saw or someone who influenced you?
Well, no, I would say it was a gradual thing, as it probably is with most people. It's an unusual choice of occupation for a sort of centrally placed male American. You know, when you're out there in New Jersey, you don't suddenly pop up in the middle of your football practice and say, yes, I'm going to be an actor. You don't, it doesn't do it that way. I probably really started thinking about doing it after I was doing it. And vaguely when I was working at MGM in the cartoon department, a job which I got really mainly to observe movie making because I was sort of starstruck at that time. Still am.
Histories of you at school, they relate that your rendering of Managua, Nicaragua, showed people the early talent. How did that, what was Managua, Nicaragua?
Managua, Nicaragua was a hit song of the early 40s, actually, in which I sang it in a grammar school variety show in a red and gold crepe paper cape with a sort of bellboy's monkey hat on. I was rather flamboyant, I would say, for a 7-year-old or whatever it was.
You started acting in the Players' Ring in Los Angeles. Were they a good group?
Very good group. A very good thing happened to me there. It was the first production that I actually worked on. I went to the readings for 2 productions. They had 2 theaters, and they'd read for 2 full productions, which 2 plays of any kind more or less will cover every actor in Hollywood who's not immediately working at that time or about to be not working. And I got to see everybody read, and that was very encouraging to me. I noticed, you know, almost no one read well, and I thought, well, this isn't so bad, you know, not such a huge mountain from that moment on. And I think it was a freak occurrence that an actor would get to see that in a professional situation with the same actors who were competing for the television shows and the films, for the most part, and get to suddenly see them all in that most naked of all acting postures, reading for a part. It is the toughest thing to do, I suppose. And as a result of that, I always read very well.
When you got into movies, those early films, the pre-Easy Rider films, the Roger Corman movies, do they make you wince when you see them on television now?
Well, they all make you wince. I mean, I think work of any vintage, because, you know, you embody your own work, makes I would imagine makes anyone wince, or at least it should. I got to do a few things that I actually liked, and I must say that although I was in some of the most dreadful pictures of all time, that I was, and so were all the people I was working with, trying to do their best under the circumstances, and that's really all you need as a developing actor, is just to be trying to do it well. If you can live with the humiliation of, you know, being in something where it's pretty funny, you know, it's not bad for you.
The turning point for you was certainly Easy Rider. Someone told me that you modeled your part, the part of the Southern lawyer, on LBJ.
Well, I didn't have the normal length of time that you would have to study a dialect, and since the character was from Texas, and some of the speeches that he had were sort of evangelical, Johnson's speech pattern, and which was familiar to my ear at this time from hearing it and so forth. You know, I mean, I didn't put it out in front as an imitation, but it was something true that I could refer to in terms of a way of talking. But also I wore I wore glasses like I remembered from, you know, my family, my father wearing at that time. Character was supposed to be 42. I sort of remembered what my father's glasses, you know, all kinds of things like that.